how you doing, man? I hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to another episode of The Takedown with me, Q Dube. I wasn't available the past couple of episodes. Shout out to my girl, my sweetheart, the very funny and intelligent and smart Maggie who held it down. And yeah, that was the thing. I was down with the bad case of like COVID, but you know what I mean? We fought through it and we are here today. We've got a very, very dope episode for you today. We're talking to the Honorable Job Sikhala, who's just been released from jail. He was locked up. They wouldn't let him out, but they did. And he's here with us today. We're going to have a chat with him. But before we do that, we just touch on a couple of stories of like what's been happening in our beloved country and yada, 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 yada. So yeah, we're going to get into the first story in 3, in 2, in 1. So in our first story today, the UK on Monday announced sanctions against 4 Zimbabwe security chiefs for human rights abuses in a move that will restrict their travel thingy and freeze their assets. Sanctions. So we're not sure if these are going to be called illegal like the rest of them or whatever, but this is what has happened. It cited a crackdown on protests in January 2019, which killed 17 people, and post-election violence in 2018. So in a statement, it was said that these sanctions send a clear message that we will hold to account those responsible for the most egregious human rights violations, including the deaths of innocent Zimbabweans. So that was a statement that was put out by British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab. It also went on to say, which is the most important part for me, these sanctions target senior individuals in the government and not ordinary Zimbabweans. I hope this is true because I applied for a UK visa and it got denied. I'm still upset about that. Moving right along, there was outrage in the country a few days ago as Zimbabwean citizens, we were asked to pay for our COVID-19 vaccination. So as we all know, we are in the middle of a pandemic. There's COVID-19 vaccines have been made and are being sold, and countries across the world are buying these vaccines to vaccinate their people. And we as Zimbabwe are part of the countries that are buying these vaccines. And it is said that we were told that we would have to pay. Anyway, all right. So let me give it to you. Zimbabweans were left outraged on Wednesday evening after a senior government official said citizens will have to pay for their COVID-19 vaccination shots. Us, this Southern African country, we are said to have put together 100 million United States dollars for the procurement of these vaccines for percent of our population. The government is saying they're expecting to recover that money from the citizens. Now, I mean, it was later clarified that this is not going to be true. This is, it was, but the fact that something of this nature came out, I wouldn't want to be a child in that household. No, do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to be a child in that household, like, because we're going to recover the money from the city. It's like, it's literally, imagine being in that household and the kids say, "Daddy, there's no bread." And then dad says, "Okay, I'm coming, let me go to the shops." And then he buys bread, a loaf of bread, and then he comes back home and then he starts charging his children 20 cents a slice. Yeah. Moving it right along, we go on to our third story, which is it's a feel-good story. As we know, Hopewell Chinono is one of the three that was arrested, along with our guest for today, as well as Fadzai Mahere. Hopewell, upon his release, came out and he did a freestyle, right? A reggae freestyle. As people may know, reggae is a very, very huge part of entertainment in Zimbabwe. It's a huge part of Zimbabwean culture. Reggae, I mean, you know, we grew up on it. Bob Marley coming to perform in 1980 just cements how much Zimbabweans identify with reggae music. So Hopewell did a freestyle to a reggae beat, and the song is entitled Dem Loot, and here is the version. Now, of course, Hopewell wasn't the only one to do this rendition. Obviously, there were remixes done, and one of my personal favorites came from a very, very talented musician called Vusamkaya, and he did a Mbakanga version of the Demlut, and here is his version.
Talking water, them loot, whoa, them loot, them loot, them loot. People are dying, them loot, them loot, them loot, them loot. Them loot, them loot, them loot, them loot, them loot, them loot. House atwala kanzima we. Them loot, them loot, them loot, them loot. Kapula wetonga, eshe.
Now we hope that everybody else can jump on and do their remixes. We hope that Job Sikhala, the Honorable, can also give us his remix once he's settled down. Speaking of him, he is here, he is waiting. We're just going to do a little billboard thing that goes, and then we come back with the interview. So stay tuned. We're talking to the Honorable Job Sikhala in 3, in 2, in 1. All right, guys, welcome back to it. Welcome back. Glad that you're still with us. Now, like we said, we've got a very, very special guest with us. Someone who recently just came home after being a guest of the state. We have got Honorable Job Sikhala. How are you, sir?
No, I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm very, very, very well. Welcome home.
Thank you very much. But basically what you have to know is that I now know no home. My home is now Chikurubi Maximum Prison. Since last year, I have now stayed in prison for over 90 days. So specifically,
wow.
I now have 2 homes. So I have left my few days ago, and I'm at my other place of
residence. At your other residence.
Yes.
At your other real estate. Speaking about that, you know, might as well get into it. You said once when you were charged with treason, you've been charged with treason before, and you said that it was a very traumatic experience for your family, especially your kids. You know, what they had to endure and go through. How are they taking it now?
It's normal. You know, they are not used to these issues of political persecution and so forth. It would be abnormal for them not to be worried. It's normal, but however, this time around, I wanted to prevent that they would not know about it, but because I had 3 of my kids who were writing examinations, so I did not want them to know that I was arrested. But unfortunately, my daughter phoned me that she was informed by her teachers that I was under arrest. So basically, it diverts them from being focused to examination writing, and you know, it affects them. They are not born of steel like some of us. We have been in this political game for time. Unlike them, they are not politicians. They know nothing. So they really don't understand some of these things. They come to them as a shock and a surprise. So you know, should expect them to react in a different way, the way we politicians to react. They get stuck, they get shocked, they get stressed up and worried about my safety because you know, being under the control of individuals whom you do not know, it's something that is worrisome to everyone. So surely my kids will got worried about it.
Right, right. And so what do you do as a parent in at this point? Do you have conversations with them? You know, hey, this is what's about to happen. I'm going to be okay. How do you how do you even prepare, you know?
You can't prepare them. What you simply do is that I don't want to share my political you know, situation with them because they are not politicians. So specifically for me to share with them is becoming unfair to them. So you simply just leave it to nature and also to God on how you will manage them, because you know it's very difficult for you to share with your kids things that are involved in your trade, which they are not part of it. So you simply keep quiet and leave to make their own judgments.
I get you. I understand. This time you were arrested for sharing a video that circulated, and everybody pretty much shared the same thing. It was, you know, we all saw the same video. People shared it in their disgust, in their shock, and in whatever it is. You guys were picked up for spreading falsehoods, which was what I guess the charge was. So what is the suggestion now? Are we not allowed to, you know, because we're all sitting back looking at this and saying, huh? What does this mean now?
Yeah, definitely. It's normal for you to get surprised, just like every other normal Zimbabwean. They really get shocked and surprised because that video was shared by millions and millions of Zimbabweans. It became a subject of debate by almost everyone. It was shared in all WhatsApp groups. It was trending on Twitter. It was trending on Facebook, on Instagram, and in different social media platforms. So specifically for to select the three of us, myself, Hopewell, and Fadzai Mahere, to part and parcel to be people who have been spreading falsehoods. It's really strange and queer. It must bring some very inquisitive question in an asking mind to say, why are they the only ones who have been picked out of the millions of Zimbabweans? Some even went as far as coming to the Facebook and other social media to say, myself, this is my comment. I commented about it. My statement was worse than what these people have posted on their Facebook. Comments arrest me. But no action was taken against any other citizen except the three of us. So you must be able to deduce an agenda which the government knows for itself why they are targeting certain individuals in our country on something that was discussed by everyone. You know, only those people who are not on social media are those who did not discuss or commented about it. But anybody on the platform of social media, one way or the other, commented about it. But also, secondly, they are alleging me to have posted it on a Facebook page. A Facebook page which they do not have evidence that it belongs to me. And also, the content of the statement they alleged to have been posted, and they try to say, because the section with which we were charged with says a person must be spreading falsehoods knowingly, and also there must be a mention of undermining either the military, the police, or the the prison services. But having gone to that statement, as you realize the comments by Justice Chitapi, that he has not even come across myself to anybody talking about the police in that statement. So the basis for them to allege that the statement was undermining the police, you know, the judge wondered where it was coming from, because it was not contained in the statement with the alleged that it's myself who posted it. So you must understand that it's purely targeted persecution of the people whom they had their own agenda, and they know the reasons why they targeted the three of us. And what I know is that it was purely political persecution, and nothing more, nothing less. And for somebody to claim that I have the propensity to commit offenses, and that if I were to be granted bail, I will re-offend on the grounds of evidence and facts which the magistrate created by himself, because issues that were presented in court, both by the state and also by the defense, there is absolutely nothing to the findings of the magistrate. The magistrate created his own evidence and his own facts for him to come to the conclusion of denying me bail on the grounds which he created himself. That evidence was not before the court. You must read it from a predetermined agenda by individuals and also the state and the government on them to deal with certain individuals whom they are afraid of. I don't know the reason why they are afraid of me, Hopewell and Fazai. They are the only authors of the explanation. They know the reasons why they are so afraid of us. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, I mean, you're making noise, and they're bound to shake here and there, and
you know, pointing out the wrongs which the government is doing is not making noise. Freedom of expression lives at the cornerstone of every civilized society. We are entitled as Zimbabweans for us to speak where we think things are not going well, things are going wrong. So for some to say that it's noise, because the problem is that
to them it's noise.
Yeah, the king is on the table, and when he is eating, you must not speak. You must ululate even if you are hungry. You must not say that you are hungry. You must clap your hands that a king eat more and eat on my behalf. That's absolutely a wrong society that we are trying to construct in our country. We need a society where individuals will also be able to say, Father, where our children are able to say, Father, we are hungry. If there is any money in the house, can you please go and buy us food? Children must not be able to, students should not be afraid to ask their parents, for what they are eating. You cannot be a parent who spends money on drinking beach and also on beer, while the children are starving at home. They have got a question to say, are you drunk? But while we are starving here, what is happening? You should have saved that money you bought beer with for our food here. So specifically, that is the situation where we have reached in Zimbabwe, where people are now, where the freedom of expression has been absolutely and totally curtailed and shut down. So there is a shutdown of the freedom of expression. People are now afraid to speak out. You wouldn't know whether even this interview I'm having with you will not cause your arrest or my arrest. Because if tongue slips, you wouldn't know where it will end up taking you to. So this is the problem that we are. It's not making noise. We are trying to tell the government where it goes wrong. So speaking truth to authority is not a crime. It is one
and
of the
now that you've pointed out that there could be a chance of me also getting arrested, can I just put out a public service announcement that all the views that are being expressed by Honorable Job Sikhala are his views and his views alone? I am just asking questions.
I will respond by saying, no, we share the same views. That's why you have the interview, and we collectively, in the doctrine of collective responsibility, we jointly own these views. So if you embarrass me, you must also pick Dube.
Sir, I am too pretty to go to prison. Please, I would not survive in there. But speaking of speaking of when we're talking of loot, did you hear the song that has since gone viral?
I did try. I did receive it. It's inspirational, very powerful, with a lot of powerful messages to the country. It doesn't accuse anybody. It is just an internal expression, the inner.
Would you do your version?
It will depend. You have to understand that I was. I'm just 2 days now out of prison. I did not get the time to settle down. I was running up and down to get my medical tests, the COVID tests and others. So as you have been talking to me, the doctor has sent the results to me. And unfortunately, I'd like to announce that my COVID results are out, and I've come out from the laboratory and I've come out negative.
Ah, there we go. Ah, we thank God. We thank God. Thank you. Ah, that is such a relief. It's such a relief. And that leads to another question that I had. I was going to ask later, but I think we can ask it now. You being in Chikurubi, before we go to the serious one, we'll start with maybe a more light-hearted question in the same thingy. You mentioned how when you and Hopewell arrived, there was a cheer from the inmates at seeing the both of you.
There was thunderous cheering all days of Chikurubi Maximum Prison, specifically for the reasons that I later found out that Hopewell did a lot of work for the inmates at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. He brought them books. He also raised, the conditions and concerns of inmates at Chikurubi Maximum Prison at a national and international level. Now everybody now knows Chikurubi Maximum Prison or on the basis of Hopewell's efforts to inform the world about the conditions there. So yes, hero among the inmates at Chikurubi Prison.
Wow, that is inspiration. What is the mood though, in terms of what's going on in the country and so on? Are the inmates oppressed? What's the general mood in there? I think a lot of the times when we talk about what's happening in the country and we neglect, we forget that there's that.
Yeah, the problem with our leadership is that they only want to listen to their own voices. They don't give themselves a chance and opportunity to go down and hear what people are saying. You would wonder even to find 2 inmates at Chikurubi Maximum Prison who is standing with the current government. They have lost respect and support, and also they have been complaining about the way how the amnesty has been conducted for the past years. They thought that there was discrimination. There was also selective application of amnesty. The inmates who benefited, the majority of them, some inmates were not happy about that. They thought that there is some form of discrimination that is taking place. when inmates are being given amnesty. So, and also secondly, there is huge suffering at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. You cannot feed on beans and badly cooked sadza for 365 days. You cannot feed spinach throughout the year. There is massive suffering where people's buttocks are out, where adults' buttocks can be seen from tattered prison garb, which they will be wearing. People are sleeping on blankets that are not even suitable for a dog's kennel. So specifically, the situation there is that, you know, it's inhuman, and people are living the life that you never ever wish one day to go through. The blankets as Chikurubi Maximum Prison are stinking. They are thick of dirt. They do not have soap or safe to wash those blankets. So the situation is extremely unbelievable. So bad is the situation that people who are living there and surviving had a problem of the way and the standard of living they've been having at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. It's really terrible. It's unbelievable. You do not wish human beings to be exposed to such conditions. So it means that, and it also seems that the current government is failing to deal with the situation at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. It calls upon Zimbabweans to make sure that the next generation of leaders in our country should fix the problems. And basically, like what I asked from the beginning, Chikurubi Maximum Prison must be shut down. It must become a museum. It must, because it does not worth human survival. I don't know. I don't know what was in the mind of that person who designed Chikurubi Maximum Prison. That person must be a sadist, a person who had no respect for life civilization. So this is what I have to share with you.
And so if this is the case in terms of just the general conditions, now one wonders, how then is the COVID situation in there? How is all that being handled? From what you saw.
What I've realized is that there were inmates who were detected to be suffering of COVID. But these were people who were coming from outside Chikurubi Maximum Prison. In Chikurubi Maximum Prison, no one knows the situation because there are no tests that are being taken from the inmates. No inmate knows his or her own status at Chikurubi Maximum Prison. Those who came from outside, I think the group that had 14 who were detected COVID-19 was from Chinoi, and those people were put in their own cells where they stayed there until they were retested, and 11 of them came out, and 3 remained behind. But the general inmates at Chikurubi don't know their status because there are no tests at all that have been taken on them.
Wow. Yeah, well, yeah, we hope that, you know, we hope for safety, we hope for God's intervention in terms of keeping people alive and healthy in that regard. I think that's the only thing that we can do at this point.
No, but it's the duty of the government to make sure that everyone is tested, their status is known, and what should be done is that it is the responsibility of government for them to take the challenge and make sure that the inmates in all prisons are tested. We cannot leave it to chance. We cannot leave it to chance because this disease is dangerous, and you know when you catch it, you are in big trouble.
Right. Well, you almost spent if you hadn't been released, you would have spent Valentine's in there. Now that you're out, what are your plans for Valentine's? Do you have any?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Some of us, we are mature enough, we no longer have Valentine's in our heads. And I will just have I will kill a goat for my family to enjoy goat meat.
Goat meat. I wish I was you. I would use the situation whenever my girlfriend or my wife asks kuti ko Valentine's sha nezvandrukuitwa sha uri kubvunza Valentine. That's how I would escape. Uri kuona ndiri kusungwa uri kundibvunza Valentine's sure.
No, I'm just a few days from prison. What else do you think I might have? No, that's true. That's true.
No, you have certain people. There's one thing that came out where we were told that it was, I guess, later rectified, but it was said that we might need to pay for our COVID vaccinations. Did you hear about that?
I heard a statement that was ascribed to Linube, claiming that he is pronounced that people who want vaccination must buy it. I was not interested to follow that statement because I was not sure whether it was a true statement, on the basis that no normal person would make such an announcement, especially if something is gone wrong. So I never thought, no, he has announced it. I thought it was a hoaxy. So I did not want to quote again in a hoaxy, like what they are now saying that the alleged kid who is said to have been killed by the police never died, and that the was not 9 years, it was 3 years old. Something that we were very interested, we will have a joy in court for us on that issue.
I get you. Now, in your last arrest in 2020, apparently it's something that could make a movie script and so on. It's alleged that you hid in a ceiling. Is that?
Yeah, that was the allegations by Makore, the arresting officer. I think he was trying to make an argument in court. And when he meets me nowadays, he just laughs over it. That we were just trying to make all efforts to make sure that you are not going to get bail. So we had to strong grounds that you are a flight risk. And that was the only way we could use facts that could support our position that you are a flight risk. So it was really a sick joke from Makore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, got you. We won't keep you too long. We know you've got so much to do. Another question.
Today is Friday, is my reporting day. When you called, I was about to go to the police station to go and make a police report. My reporting conditions that I report every Friday at St. Mary's Police
Every
Station.
Friday.
Was about to go. Sure, after the interview, I'll go to St. Mary's Police Station to report.
To go and report. No, we wish you the best of luck with that. All right, so well, what we'll do is I will just ask you one question, and then we get into a rapid fire segment that we have, and then we can close it off. Now we had a discussion with Jonathan Moyo, Professor Jonathan Moyo, in the previous episode. And we spoke about your arrest. We spoke about MDC and all these things, and he seemed to have a lot of positive things to say in regards to Advocate Nelson Chamisa, yourself, and all the things that you're going through. What are your thoughts on him and his current stance now, and everything that he's seems to be standing for now?
No, do you understand? A society that we want to have in our country is a society which must respect every individual's opinion. At any given time, people must, be proud of holding their own opinions. So whatever opinion, whether positive or negative, against myself, which Professor Jonathan Moyo holds, I must respect it, because that is the way how he thinks and sees things at that particular time. So whatever way, and he sees things and so forth, that is one of the most fundamental issues. We are going to make sure that we are going to propagate it in our country until it has become part and parcel of our culture. We must celebrate opinions which do the world, even if they are strange, but you are entitled to them. So let Professor Jonathan Moyo hold his views. Let's respect them. Whether they are negative about me, I respect his opinion, but he must also respect my contrary opinion to what he also thinks about me, which is a democracy we build and construct in our country. It's so important and fundamental to the future of this country. That's why I was saying, in the event that we have been given an opportunity for us to be in any government in the future, we want the Constitution of Zimbabwe to be a compulsory subject from primary to Form 6. There must be a subject called Constitution, where our children are taught, the provisions of our Constitution, so that they understand the fundamental human rights, civil liberties, and civic rights that are contained in our Constitution. Our people must be appraised for them to be able to respect the diversity, which is part and parcel of human rights, which is celebrated the world over. So the Constitution must be one of our subjects, which must be learned at school as one of the compulsory subjects, so that our children we produce children who know, their Constitution.
That is very interesting. I think that means I had never thought about that, to have the Constitution as an actual subject.
I thought it when I was in Chikurubi this last arrest. I said, us to be able to produce an enlightened society, for us to produce the generations that will respect fundamental rights, and also understand and respect each other and respect diversity, so that we will not have people who are living in their own situations. Is for us to be able to have the Constitution as one of the subjects which our children must learn. If it cannot start at primary level, but from Form 1, so the Constitution must be one of the examinable subjects which our children and generations to come must be taught, so that they will know the basic fundamental rights human beings possess.
That's understood. That's understood. I like that one, and I hope that can be kicked into effect very, very sooner than later. So what we're going to do now, to let you go, we're going to do rapid fire. So what rapid fire is, we just ask you questions and you answer either yes or no, or you answer whatever. Yes. No explanation. Yeah, please, no explanation needed. All right. First question, G40 or Lacoste?
None.
If you were to pick one. None. Second question, I know you are an Arsenal supporter. Thierry Henry or Ian Wright to be Arsenal manager?
Thierry Henry.
Okay. Mazondo or Maguru?
Mazondo.
For vacation, where would you rather go? The Maldives or Zanzibar?
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar. Now, I'm going to ask you these ones. These three questions are the first thought that comes to mind. The first thought, just one word that comes to mind when I mention these people. Nelson Chamisa.
Great.
ZANU-PF.
Idiots.
Chikurubi Maximum Prison.
Concentration camp.
Okay. So, thank you very, very much for taking time out of your schedule.
I enjoyed your interview. Thank you, my brother. I'm back again. This is one of the most fantastic interviews I ever enjoyed. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Love to the family, love to everyone, and good luck in future. Congratulations on being COVID negative.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. You have to understand I had fun. I had the utmost fun in the world talking and so on. We would have loved to go on so much longer. There's so many more questions that we had lined up, but as you heard him say, he literally was released from jail just 2 days ago. And so for him to even agree to do this with us so soon after being released, we are forever grateful, and we don't take it for granted. And as you heard him say as well, he has to go to the police station to go and report. Today is his day of reporting. So we couldn't even go through all the questions that we had, but I feel like we may have gotten enough to at least know his mood, where he is, his thoughts, and to know that he's okay. We're happy that he is COVID negative, and we hope that everybody else out there is. I was not available for the past 2 shows because I just recently also got over COVID, and would like to let you know that it's real. It's yeah, I almost lost my life, and please, people, take care of yourselves out there. This thing is not a game. As it is, as I'm talking to you now, I'm actually feeling winded. I'm feeling a bit tired now. So please, people, take care of yourselves out there. Please keep sanitizing, wear your masks, social distance, and do what needs to be done to protect your life. This thing is not a joke. So I'm very happy that Mr. You know, Honorable Sikhala got his results while he was talking to us, and he's COVID negative. So we're happy about that. As for the show, this was the show. We'll see you same time, same place, just a different date. My name is Q. This has been the Takedown, and I will see you next time. That's what I said before. I don't know why I'm repeating that, but yeah. Happy Valentine's Day for those that have Valentine's days. I had a Valentine's. I think, okay, I don't know if I have a Valentine's, right? Because I won't be able to see her during Valentine's Day because she'll be with her husband. So I don't. My life is sad. Anyway, bye.